Yo, peace, Bargani Islam, Salam, Etepu, Rahubat, Chinolaku Ninani, Chief Noble Bandele Elamine. And once again, I'm going to try this again, y'all. Having technical difficulties, but I think I got it right this time. But tonight, we are going to be discussing the flock cameras. And we're going to talk about, are they good or bad? What's up with flock cameras? And what are flock cameras? If y'all don't know, we're going to find out tonight together, okay? So before we get into it, please like this video and subscribe and share this video. And we're going to get into this, all right? So like I said, we've been talking about flock cameras, right? And hopefully I'm gonna be able to do the video because it was not allowing me to do the video at first. So I'm gonna make sure everything is good, everything is locked in, all right? Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all can hear the video. I'm gonna be listening too, but I'm gonna let y'all know. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna play a few videos and we're gonna get into this, all right? So here we go.
Labeled terrorism by many on the right. Can you guess which one? Hint, it's not the one with the ski mask and a growing list of fatalities. These are flock cameras. They scan license plates, identify your car's make and model, even read your bumper stickers. And they send all that data to a national database that law enforcement across the country can use. And earlier this year, a California town found out that Flock had been sharing data with federal agencies without the city ever agreeing to it. This is where you cue shitting the fan. Videos of folks sawing down towers, spray painting sensors, have gone viral on social media, and more than 50 U.S. cities have already canceled their contracts with Flock. So naturally, Flock's response to all this was to call it terrorism. What's that saying? When you don't know how to win an argument, call it terrorism? And we know our president has a track record of officially labeling groups he doesn't like as domestic terrorists. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and disable these cameras. I would never suggest such a thing. But here's what we know is true. There's somewhere between 80,000 and 100,000 of these cameras installed all over the country. They're scanning 20 billion license plates per month, and that number's growing fast. Now, officers have been caught using this exact system to stalk their exes and estranged partners. And big cities like LA to small towns in Colorado are canceling these Flock contracts because they can't get straight answers from the company on who has access to your data and why. Now, Flock will tell you this is all in the name of safety. It's the classic move. If you got nothing to hide, what are you afraid of? I'm afraid of 1984 becoming a real-life documentary, but that doesn't have to be our future. Researchers at the University of Chicago Crime Lab ran an actual randomized trial in New York City public housing. They found that better street lighting cut crime by over 30%. That's the thing the cameras are attached to, the lights. You got safety with zero privacy-killing cameras involved. Violence interruption programs like Cure Violence, where real people mediate conflict before it escalates, have driven down violent crime in several cities where that program runs. Even just maintaining green space and public parks has been shown to correlate with a reduction in crime because it rebuilds the things surveillance never can, actual community connection. So don't let them tell you that the panopticon is our only option and this is all for your own good. We have better options. They're already working in real cities with real people and real data. If you want to defund Flock, check out the ACLU's Get the Flock Out toolkit and apply it in your neighborhood. Comment with the word out and we will DM you a link to that toolkit. And if you want more videos like this, follow me here or find us at lifewithmachines.media. One of these is being...
All right. So y'all hear it. This is our intro. They got, like I said, roughly 80,000 to 100,000 flock cameras around the United States, scanning license, all that, right? So this is heavy. This is really a violation of our civil rights, or is it? How legal is this? And how are they using it? You heard the police were using it to track their own personal people, girlfriends, and things of that nature. And I got some videos for that too. So we're going to keep it going and go into it, all right? So let's go to the next video.
The city covered its own surveillance cameras with trash bags because it couldn't figure out how to turn them off. That was Dayton, Ohio, after an audit found the city's Flock license plate readers were tied to immigration enforcement searches. Officials wanted out, but they weren't sure if their contract would let them remove the hardware. So Public Works grabbed garbage bags. In Boulder, Colorado, 2 residents sued, calling the city's 31 flock cameras warrantless tracking that violates Colorado's constitution. Edmonds, Washington became the 3rd city in its county to cancel their flock contract after a university report found federal agencies tapped flock networks statewide. Finally, Bandera, Texas voted to end its contract, leading to a councilman satirically calling for a ban on phones and the internet. Want to know if your town runs these? Look it up on dflock.org and bring it to your next council meeting. Watch the full video for more details. The city covered its own.
All right, so I just wanted to stop that real quick. My hometown, Dayton, Ohio, they saw the problem so bad that they did something about it. So just to let you know, if you guys are familiar with flock cameras, right, and they are, you want to do something about it, you see Dayton did something about it. Dayton put something, like they put trash bags on the camera. They didn't know how to get rid of it. No, I'm not going to get too much into it because I got another video right after this discussing it. But if your county, your city is saying they can't do something about it, refer them back to this. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's keep it going.
Here in Dayton, Ohio, the city commission have decided to cancel all flock cameras within the city of Dayton limits. There were 7,100 search requests citing immigration-related purposes from various law enforcement agencies. According to the advocates for basic legal equity, the mass surveillance is not for the general public safety at all, but the fact that information is collected, any individual that's related to law enforcement can go in there very generically to be able to get that information and use it for whatever reason. And this reason they searched it for immigration purpose. And that's one statistics. Have a conversation. Let's make sure the public is aware of it and let's talk through it. And if the public is not comfortable with it, this is not something that we should implement. We should implement in our own backyard.
Yeah. We were talking about a case in California.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it pops up right here in our city. It's happening everywhere. We need to look at that because it's not what it's designed for.
Yeah.
In order for us to keep the rights that we have and to keep away from this surveillance system, the surveillance nation that we see, that we've got to do a better job with it. So that's the other reason why I'm happy about it.
For the city of Dayton, about 500,000 residents here, for community this size, to be able to take a stance on it and be able to have a conversation. I'm kind of very proud that they're able to do that. Here in Dayton, Ohio, the city commission have.
All right. So you see, like I said, Dayton, Ohio was able to have a discussion about it. They took it to City Hall and it was addressed. Now they got them at least covered up so they're not, being used. All right. Let's keep it going.
Do not buy a cheap green laser pointer, 1 milliwatt.
All right, now before we get into this video, he being funny, but listen to what he's saying. He dropping them Jews. But if you're familiar with flock cameras, this is what you should not do. Okay, should not do.
Or above, and shine them on a flock camera because that would be wrong. It would destroy the delicate sensors in those flock cameras, and we don't like that here at the Lincoln Project. No one should buy those. Easily available on eBay, Amazon, and other places. Super inexpensive green laser pointers, and shine them on flock cameras to destroy their lenses. That would be absolutely wrong, and I condemn it utterly.
Thank you so much for that condemnation, Rick. I would never do something like that, and I am so
It would just be wrong.
It would be so wrong.
Flock cameras, as people probably know by now, are an incredibly pervasive new surveillance system. They track, they take pictures of your car, of you, of your license plate. They match it with your phone data, all this stuff. There are about 80,000 of them now. They're planning to put hundreds of thousands more out, and local law enforcement are abusing them at scale. Do not buy a cheap green laser pointer. All
right, you hear that? Don't buy a cheap green laser. Okay, don't do it. But if you had to, you know what I'm saying? If you had to, possibly how to dismantle that. I don't know how true that is, but I have heard this a few times. Please do your research on this to make sure that you know what you're doing, all right? So let's keep it pushing.
The scariest part about the 18 cops so far found to use the flock system to stalk their exes, but it wasn't just their exes they were stalking, and we're not just talking looking up license plates a couple of times. This one police chief in Kansas alone ran his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend's license plates hundreds of times, using the information to then hunt them down. The fact that this is becoming more common and more alarming, and the fact that it's not just their exes, these cops are now being found to be actively stalking via the flock cameras. This Missouri officer ran one woman's license plate over 300 times. Another officer in Florida running another woman's license plate multiple times, then planting an air tag on her, and then tried to get his colleagues to help him on stakeouts to continue to stalk her. This MPD officer wasn't even using it to track ex-girlfriends or current girlfriends. He was simply using it to track any woman he was interested in via the flock cameras. This 35-year-old officer was found to use the flock system to stalk his wife, his mistress, and his romantic rivals. There are now lists being put together of the amount of cops who are using the flock system not to fight crime as it was intended, but what they're calling romantic stalking. This isn't even happening in certain towns or a handful of states. This is actually occurring across the country. The top 7 states being Florida, California, Wisconsin, Georgia, Kansas, Texas, Arizona, where these officers aren't just stalking women, they are stalking men too. The scariest part about the 18 cops.
Man, I don't know what to say about that. Now, I'm not here to to disrespect officers in general, but officers, cops are human beings, and unfortunately, they will use this technology to abuse. They will abuse it, and that's going to be a major factor in why these cameras have to be stopped. You know what I'm saying? They have to be taken down, heavily regulated, or something, because this is uncalled for. But wait, there's more.
So a police department using a flock camera just caught a man going across state lines to get some of that za. And when he returned to his state, they pulled him over and checked his car. Using a flock camera, they tracked this information. I'm going to say this one time for the people in the back. Whatever you do, if you're in America and you care about your privacy, do not spray your license plate with Rust-Oleum 214944. Don't do that, because if that happens, only a criminal would do that, right? Because they're undetectable to flock cameras and toll road cameras. So whatever you do, if you're in America, check this out. Do not spray your license plate with Rust-Oleum 214944. Only a criminal would do that, right? Peace and love, and I'm out. So,
all right. So let's unpack this real quick. At the beginning of the video, he made mention of the how they use flock cameras from a brother who bought marijuana that's legal in one state, and they use flock cameras to track him back to a state that's not necessarily legal, and they arrested him. So they use flock cameras over state lines. Okay, I understand that. So I think I got another video on that, but y'all check out that storyline, because it's crazy. The second part of his video, he talked about using the spray, right? And I've heard this a long time ago, like, when they had the traffic cameras, you spray that on there and the camera can't see your license plate. But what we're going to learn today is flock cameras are very evasive, and and that's not going to stop a flock camera from tracking you, okay? So we'll look at that in a little bit. We're going to keep going, all right? So put that on your mind. Let's go to the next one.
Yes, I did. People that I spoke to in the Fayetteville area call this very alarming, that police officers are using those flock cameras for their own purposes. They say that this raises new questions about privacy, accountability, and how the technology is monitored.
For many, flock cameras are supposed to make communities safer.
But after 3 officers allegedly abused the system for personal reasons, some residents are questioning whether the technology has enough safeguards.
I don't think they should be misused for personal use or any other use unless it's for a legal reason.
According to the Fayetteville Police Department, the officers improperly used the license plate reader technology to look for relatives and acquaintances, actions the department says fell outside of the scope of their duties. Now, some residents are calling for stronger oversight.
They should be for that specific purpose. If they're able to use it for all these other reasons like tracking people, either they need a new company that has protections on the gear to where you can't do all that stuff, or there needs to be some checks and balances on it.
Atlanta News First reached out to Flock Safety. The company's CEO says while the allegations are disappointing, it also demonstrates that agencies can detect misuse.
It's a disappointing story when I see it, but I also go, look, this is working. This is showing that if you use a tool like Flock or other tools, you should be held accountable, regardless of whether you have a badge or you don't.
This all comes as Flock cameras continue to face scrutiny across metro Atlanta. In some communities, opponents have even vandalized or removed the cameras. Fayetteville resident Willie Wells says the latest incident only reinforces his concerns.
They're unconstitutional and they have to pay us for our data. Okay, we're becoming a police state. We got to stop it. We got to stop it.
Yes, I did. People that I spoke to in the Fayetteville area call this very alarming, that police officers are using those Flock cameras for their own purposes. They say that this raises new questions about privacy, accountability, and how the technology is monitored. For many, Flock cameras are supposed to make communities safer. But after 3 officers allegedly abused the system for personal reasons, some residents are questioning whether the technology has enough safeguards.
I don't think they should be misused for personal use.
Right. So once again, we're seeing Flock cameras being used and abused by officers. This is something that's going to keep reoccurring. Let's go.
Now, a lot of y'all might remember when I first dropped the video talking about these Flock cameras popping up in different states. A lot of y'all say, man, I ain't even on that, man. They need to get rid of them cameras. We don't support that. Well, it turns out you are not alone. Cities all over the country are straight up canceling their contracts with Flock. Some folks are even throwing bags over the lenses to block them. But it gets wilder. We're seeing real vigilante action. People spray painting the cameras. Others straight up destroying them, backing trucks up into them and knocking the whole pole down with the camera on it. They even doing this right here. Like they camping, having a good old camping, sitting down with the wifey, got a big old pole. Guess what he doing? Blocking the camera all day long. Like ain't nobody recording today. These cameras won't get no footage today. This is not just a few angry people anymore. This is becoming a movement. So what do y'all think? Is this the right way to push back? Or do y'all think we should go about it the official way? Y'all ought to know, man. Drop your thoughts in the comments, man. Let me know what y'all think, man. I want to hear about it.
What y'all think? What are y'all so far? What do y'all think? Please drop it in the comment. Drop a comment. What you guys think so far about what's being shown about Flock cameras? I know it sounds like everything negative, but what do y'all think? Somebody say right here, get the Flock out of here. You know what I'm saying?
We're now finding out those license plate cameras aren't just recording your plate anymore. It's called signal trace. It doesn't read your plate. No visible plate doesn't matter anymore. They don't need it. It reads your phone, your AirPods, your smartwatch, every Bluetooth signal sitting in that car with you. That exact combination is unique to you. Nothing travels alone. Every device that moves with you gets pulled into the web, your phone, your partners, and the kids. One household, one file, watched as one. Now you know why they need all those data centers, tracking and analyzing this much data for every single American. This isn't a small side project. There's a few 100 million people searched all day, every day. All of it straight into government data sharing, and in most cases, No warrant required. It's a live feed, running 24/7 every time you drive past. Plate cameras were just the beginning. The real target now is you, your devices, your patterns. And because this reads device signals, it doesn't need a road, malls, parking lots, sidewalks, anywhere they put the sensor. It already knows your car. Now it's built to know you. And you never had an opinion? Follow 4 episode 2. Who can access this data?
Yo, do you hear this? You understand? Do you understand what is being said? Let me check my thing real quick. All right. I want y'all to understand. Like we said, y'all can cover up your plate if you want to, but it's reading your cell phone. It's reading your AirPods. It's reading your earpods. It's reading any of the electrical devices that you got on you when they go by you. This I'm telling you, if y'all didn't know about flock cameras, you gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today. Please like and share this video. Like and share this video. Let people who don't know, share this video with them. Please. All right, let's keep on going.
The Supreme Court issued a new decision this morning on cell phone location data and the Fourth Amendment. I've been covering flock cameras all week. Here's the connection and what it means for your rights. The case is Chatry v. United States. The police used a geofence warrant to get Google location history data to identify a suspect for a bank robbery in Virginia. The Supreme Court ruled 5-4 that this was a search under the Fourth Amendment. This means that you have a reasonable expectation of privacy in your cell phone location data, and using Google Maps does not mean that you agreed to share your location with the government. The court also held that the duration does not determine whether or not a search occurred. Even short-term monitoring can violate the Fourth Amendment. Does this change the law on flock cameras today? Not directly. License plates are in public view, and courts have consistently upheld warrantless flock use for that reason. But here's what changed this morning. Every court that has upheld warrantless flock use has relied on the argument that a few data points over a few hours is too limited to trigger constitutional protections. But in Chatry, the Supreme Court said that even short-term monitoring does not get you out of the Fourth Amendment. That means the reasoning is under serious pressure. The Supreme Court has moved from GPS tracking to cell site location data and now to Google location history. Each decision expands the Fourth Amendment into the digital surveillance landscape. Automated license plate readers are next on that trajectory. Save this, follow for more on where the law is heading.
Okay, so now we getting somewhere, y'all. We're dealing with the legal aspect, and it's saying, is it legal under the Fourth Amendment? If you guys know what the Fourth Amendment is, it's your right to privacy. They can't, it's like they can't come in your house without a warrant, or they can't go in your private, space without a warrant, meaning your car, house, things of that nature. Okay. So now it's being used with flock cameras and digital technology, because this technology is developing so fast that it's not allowing the law sometimes to catch up with it. So now we're getting an understanding of the legality of this. Okay, so let's keep going.
A leaked law enforcement policy page shows that police officers are now being told to hide their use of flock cameras. This specific leak refers to traffic stops, and it was discovered by 404 Media. The document highlights specific instructions for officers handling vehicles flagged by a flock camera hot list alert. Officers are explicitly told, do not mention ALPR usage to the occupants of the vehicle. Instead, they're instructed to tell the drivers they simply ran the plate and observed a hit. The policy also mandates do not mention ALPR usage in your report or complaint unless absolutely necessary. If officers must explain how they found a vehicle, the document tells them to use deceptive or vague phrasing, like using county resources. I discovered the suspect vehicle was bearing Iowa plate. Officers are also instructed to only admit to using the ALPR system if they are asked a direct question by someone like an attorney. The document comes from the Wapello County Sheriff's Office in Iowa, which entered into a contract to deploy flock safety cameras. Hiding the true source of an investigation creates an issue known as parallel construction. This can prevent defense attorneys from properly questioning the validity, accuracy, or potential misuse of surveillance tech in court. A leaked law enforcement policy page shows that police officers.
All right. So, like I said, we seen the legal side, the lawful side of flock cameras. So, there's going to be a lot more cases in court, and this is going to start affecting us more. Because a lot of times we might get in trouble with something based on a flock camera. Like we discussed, or we saw the video earlier where the brother was getting marijuana and moving from state to state and got in trouble. I mean, it's no telling what they're watching you do, right? And following you basically through the flock cameras across state lines, across the town, across the state, and ready to get you for something. And for people who are married to police officers, children of police officers, these things could be used against you even more because of the use. So I'm just saying. So let's keep it going. I think I got a couple more. Let's keep it going.
A Milwaukee cop just resigned after using flock cameras to stalk a woman he was dating. He ran her plate 179 times in 2 months. According to the Institute for Justice, this is happening all over the country. They've documented at least 14 cases of officers using license plate readers to stalk romantic partners, exes, and in one case, a complete stranger a Florida deputy spotted on a TV set and decided to pull over. A Kansas police chief ran his ex-girlfriend's plate over 200 times. A Kentucky officer tracked an ex hundreds of times in 2 months. Every single one of these searches was logged as an investigation. The Milwaukee cop only got caught because his victims looked themselves up on a public website called Have I Been Flocked? A Milwaukee cop just resigned after using flock.
All right. He said, have I been flocked? So check that out. You can go back and pause it and look at that. Have I been flocked? You might want to look at that, y'all. Might want to look at it.
People just connected the dots. All
right. Before I get in this, I think this is the last video. This video is not necessarily on flock cameras itself, but it has a relation. Because BlackRock, if y'all know BlackRock is the largest conglomerate, on the planet. Okay, and I thought this would be important because if they get into flock cameras or use flock camera technology, it's gonna be game over. So I just wanted y'all to see this real quick. All right.
Turns out BlackRock is now putting cameras in streetlights. Sounds like science fiction, but only because you haven't seen this.
I'm also excited to announce that we are working with another industry leader, Ubiquia, to turn streetlights into smart ALPR and live streaming cameras. Without having to add a single pole in the ground, this partnership accelerates deployments and turns existing infrastructure into intelligent, interconnected tools for public safety.
That's the CEO of Axon, and it's now one of the hottest companies in the surveillance market.
Introducing Axon Outpost. This is not just another ALPR camera, it's 2 cameras in one. So just like Fleet, you have one camera optimized for license plate reading and the other for live video streaming with a wider field of view. Outpost runs edge-based vehicle signature AI, meaning it doesn't just capture plates, it recognizes vehicle make, model, color, visible damage, and even unique features like bumper stickers or roof racks. And it can be deployed anywhere with a flexible power source, including solar or wired power.
Counties are terminating their flock contracts and spending tens of millions of dollars to install Axon systems. And here's what they really don't want you to know about. 25% of Axon is owned by BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. You know, the same people who have openly said things like this.
We're going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors. You know, what we are doing internally is if you don't achieve these levels of impact, your compensation could be impacted. Okay,
we're doing the same thing.
And so it's just you have to force behaviors, and if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted. And that's not recruiting, it is development, as Ken said.
And to make matters worse, Axon CEO Rick Smith also sees himself as a hero.
At Axon, we stand at this unique intersection. We operate the largest connected camera network of public safety cameras and sensors in the world. Our mission extends beyond just transparency and accountability after events. We now have the potential to proactively safeguard society, promptly dispatching assistance and actively deterring violence. Our goal isn't to build a society defined by surveillance or incarceration, but frankly, one where violence and crime rarely occur because they just don't make sense anymore.
I'm sure the $164 million he made in a single year has nothing to do with this motivation.
Yeah, software and services up almost 40% year over year. So it's really going great. We're in this amazing position to take advantage of the AI era because we have over 1 million users out there that are using our body cameras, in-car cameras. We have eyes and ears out in the field, and we can listen and see what's happening and then apply AI to it. It's the business is really on fire.
Here's the scary truth, folks. While people were busy taking down flock cameras, they were already rolling out the replacement. And these new cameras are designed to be more stealthy, harder to detect. You're likely not even going to know you're being recorded. So the next time you see news about flock going down, just keep in mind it might be a distraction.
Axel, Winona police suspect that the cameras were stolen between last Wednesday and Saturday after they noticed that no activity was coming through on the cameras. Now, officers checked each location and found the poles where the cameras had been placed had been cut through. The poles were located nearby, but every camera is still missing.
People just connected the dots. Turns out BlackRock is now putting cameras in streetlights. Sounds like...
All right. So you see why I use that as the last video, because that's going to be the next phase. I mean, like half the people are not even familiar with flock cameras. It just became something, popular as far as in the social media, and BlackRock is already working on a more stealth version of a flock camera. So the surveillance system in America is getting pretty scary, and soon it'll be just like it is in China. You know what I'm saying? So before I get off here, I did want to show you guys one more thing. Okay, we talked about the controversy. What is it, constitutional or whatever, right? So this was published a day ago or so. But I wanted to show, basically kind of relap over what we talked about. So right here, it makes mention that, the camera collect license plate information along with details such as vehicle color, make, model, and other distinguishing characteristics. As we keep moving. It says that those benefits have helped fuel the company's rapid growth. So you gotta understand this too. This is a company. These are companies, just like BlackRock is a company. This is not the law enforcement. The law enforcement basically is contracting with these companies and are using this technology, right? But it says right here that with flock cameras now operating in thousands of communities worldwide, anti-surveillance groups says it's mapped over 122,000 plate readers nationwide. So I just want to show you this picture right here. Can y'all see that? That's a picture of the flock cameras in the United States. So I mean, pretty much I'm gonna break it. Like we look at it half of the United States, or just a little bit under half of the United States, particularly the eastern half. The eastern half of the United States is covered with flock cameras. I mean, out of this world. Now, it's not something that's just happening. I mean, this is here. It is here, y'all. Okay, the controversy stems from the features praised most, the ability to track vehicles. That's the main problem. It's able to track our vehicles. It's able to track not just criminals, but also people, regular people that haven't committed crime. Critics argue that while the single camera may capture only a momentarily snapshot, a network of cameras can create a detailed record of someone's movement over time. Privacy advocates warn that such systems could reveal where people live, work, worship, seek medical treatment, or attend political events. So it has a wide variety of things that it can do and can be used. Okay. That's what I'm saying. This is crazy work. The debate has intensified the opposition to flock cameras and has spread beyond traditional privacy groups. So, I mean, this is something that's big, right? So I will say, and right here, it says, at the same time, some Republican lawmakers have pushed legislation to restrict or more closely regulate automated license plate reading technology. So the lawmakers are like behind, as usual, with their response to these things. But, you know, Republican lawmakers are making some attempt to do something, but I'm afraid that it's not enough. It's maybe too late or a little too little, right? Like I said, multiple officers in different jurisdictions have faced allegations of improperly accessing license plate reading database, right? So we talked about the Fourth Amendment earlier, so I just wanted to talk about it. It says the constitutional debate centered around the Fourth Amendment, which protects Americans against unreasonable search and seizures. This is important. If y'all tuning in, don't tune out. Listen to what's being said. You guys are so, a lot of times we're so quick to move on to the next video, and our attention span is not that great. But check out what I'm saying. Okay, this is a Fourth Amendment issue. Historically, courts have generally ruled that people have no reasonable expectation of privacy in information exposed to public view. And so since license plates are displayed openly on public roads, courts have found that recording a license plate is not by itself a Fourth Amendment search. And they spoke about that in one of those videos we showed. Supporters of flock cameras rely heavily on that principle. Critics argue that modern surveillance technology fundamentally changes the equation. They say that the issue isn't whether or not the police can observe a car on a public street, but whether the government can collect millions of observations and combine them into a searchable database capable of reconstructing a person's movement and daily routine. That's the issue. The argument draws heavily on the Supreme Court decision, Carpenter versus United States. Now, the other one had another one. We got to go back and watch that. But anyway, it says that in which the court found that although cell phone location records are held by wireless carriers, they can reveal so much about person's daily life, that individuals still have reasonable expectation of privacy. Telling you, this is going to get real freaky out here, okay? So are flock cameras unconstitutional? So far, no court has definitely ruled that flock cameras are unconstitutional. The most significant legal challenge is Smith versus City of Norfolk, the case involving Norfolk, Virginia, flock camera network. Plaintiffs argue that collecting and storing location information from thousands of drivers constituted a warrantless search in violation of the Fourth Amendment. So what do y'all think about that? Whenever y'all watch it, just make a comment on these things, right? It says, so in January of this year, the federal judge ruled for the city that finding that Norfolk use of cameras did not violate the Constitution. The judge concluded that the system didn't track the entirety of a person's movement and largely relied on information observable in public roadways. The case is now on appeal. So it should be very interesting. You need to watch this, okay? So I just wanted y'all to check this out, man. I appreciate everybody watching the video. Like I said, check this out. Check out our website, indigenousmoors.org, where you can find all our books and information, and continue to watch our videos. I appreciate everybody, and we'll catch you on the next one. We're gonna keep dropping this information, all right? So peace and love.